Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It's about 4:20 on Monday afternoon, January 13th, 2014. Let me read this to you, then we'll take a look at the chart. The website and the video are for educational purposes only, and nothing stated at the site or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I control lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. And I am not a licensed financial professional, just a guy who draws lines on charts. Well, if you had the patience to listen to the weekend video, and I do apologize for that, I opened the chart and I saw some interesting things. I started talking, and before I knew it, about 18 minutes had passed, and when it came time to wrap it up, I couldn't, because I really, this could have gone up over this line to tag 1860 just as easily as this bottom line could have broken to get down to the low of the day, which was about 1815. It could have gone either way. I think, however, I was right at least in leaving this top line in place right here, which with today's high we get a little bit clearer look of what was going on. We did not have an inverted head and shoulders. Instead, we stayed going out to the right much longer than what we have done in the past. You remember I mentioned that were we going to get one of those little tiny right shoulders, but instead we just extended out here, and the further and further you go, an analogy might be the more likely is the branch will break. To think of it like here's your little fulcrum point right here, and you keep going out and out and out and out, and pretty soon you just figure, well, it's going to break, and it did today. I'm not that worried about it, to be honest with you. We had a nice run from about 1770 straight up to 1848 or so, and it makes sense to give some of that back. So this is not a tremendous concern. Additionally, and I'm going to keep this kind of short today to make up for yesterday, additionally, we've got a little cluster down here of reasons to expect a bounce. Just like when we were back here in December, we had a cluster of reasons to expect a bounce, and we got it. So let's see if indeed we get that bounce. If we sell off deeper tomorrow, see if we bounce at this brown line right here, or even a little sooner at the apex of this descending wedge, which happens to line up with roughly the same line that would be in place. This light blue line, where do we get it from? That was the high that we hit in late November, which was the top of this pattern that looked like it might be a head and shoulders. What this line was on the chart more than anything else was as a sign that this head and shoulders formation right here in November and December, a sign that it was failing. And so that I kept that line on the chart. Additionally, we have the line drawn over the two peaks from November and December, early December. Extend that forward here. This was one of our inverted head and shoulders that did not have a right shoulder. So that line is extended. All of this to say that we've got a number of things that are aligned that should give the market a good, solid chance at a turnaround at that point. So, interesting to note, you remember we talked over the weekend, just in case you gave up on the video due to its length, the interesting thing to mention here is, once again, we were in a wedge that was rising, which we know should lead to a downward move, and it did. But the downward move was in a wedge that was descending, which should lead to an upward move, which it did, into a wedge that ascended, into a wedge that descended, and then into a less aggressive rising wedge that broke down today. So let's see what happens tomorrow. See if we continue to see some selling pressure, and if so, where we might find support. By the way, if we don't find support right here around 1806 to 1810, then we've got another cluster of lines down here, roughly in the high 1700s, anywhere from about 1777 to 1785, 1786. This could come into play down here too. So I don't think this is the end of the world, but I do think we need to watch it, especially if we do break through this area and we get down into the 1780s. Then we've got we've got some interesting potential developments if we get down into this area. We can talk about that if that takes place. And just between you and me, I'm standing pat with what I've got. And a matter of fact, some of my one of my biotechs is doing quite well, so I'm happy about that. Look, guys, appreciate you taking care. Appreciate you, taking time out of your day to watch this. Take care of yourselves, and let's see what the rest of this week brings.